just got the notification. Yep. Serial Entrepreneur is live. Alright. We are going to get started here in just a second, everybody. What am I trying to do here? Put on some tunes until we get started. You guys tell me if the music's too loud, I'll turn it down. I can't tell. Can you guys even hear it? Alright. Carol, what's up? Adslam, what's going on, man? You guys do me a favor and again let me know if that's too loud or if it's you can barely hear it, because if it's too loud I'll turn it down. How's everybody doing today? What is this doing? Music is just right. Alright, cool. By the way, guys, today, I'll put it in, we're listening to Kygo. A lot of people always ask what I'm listening to, or they ask the artist or what song. Kygo is the artist. He does a lot of mixes. So if you guys are looking for some good music to kind of listen to while you work, definitely the way to go. Anybody else listen to Kygo before or know of Kygo? Heard of him before? I wonder what I have my delay set on. I think I have, where's my delay? Oh, the delay setting is on OBS. That's why. I need to turn my delay setting down because when I ask a question, you guys don't hear the question until it feels like 15 to 30 seconds later. So I might need to turn that down a little bit next time. I'll play with that later. But guys, do me a favor as you hop in, hit the thumbs up button and write your name in the comments or just say hello. You don't have to write your name. I mean, if your name on YouTube is something weird, yeah, that'd be great. Write your name because sometimes you guys have some weird handles. But put your name down there or just say hello. And I would like to know when you started your agency, how long ago. And if you haven't started yet, and I don't mean you've started taking some training, but have you... For those of you who have made your business legal and made it into a legal business, when did you actually take that leap? And if you haven't done that yet, when did you start your whole marketing agency journey? When did you guys start trying to, build your own agency? That's always good to know. I'll go through really quick and say hello to everybody. Carolyn Adslan, I already said hey to you guys, but hey again. Martin, Phil, Mercedes, Chris, Larry, Jarrell. I'm going to say Jarrell, not Gerald. It's probably Jarrell. And Theo. What's going on, guys? Good to have you guys here. By the way, in case you guys don't know, the Digital Marketing School 2.0 is out. And if you buy right now, you get a free year of our mentorship program. So, just an added benefit. You get an extra, I think we place it at $4,000 in value for that program. Just from 1 month because of the amount as soon as you jump into that program, you get, I think it's 8 trainings or 8 lessons, and some of those are from the Digital Marketing School 2.0. So you get access to those really quickly, but obviously if you're buying the 2.0, you don't need that. But that's just an added benefit. So even if you don't buy the 2.0 and you just want to get in the mentorship program, it's $10 for 1 month. Can't really beat that. But if you buy the program right now, the 2.0, you actually get the mentorship program for free. So I wanted to mention that because we are closing that soon. But for those of you who want to take advantage, that's the benefit of joining right now. So you guys feel free to go ahead and put in your questions into the chat box, and we can go ahead and get tonight started. I was like, I know this song. It's because you do know this song when you're listening to Kygo. It's all just remixes of other people's music. Started my journey a month ago. LLC in February 2019. So you're a new agency. That's awesome. How's your journey going so far, Phil? Mercedes, you started your journey about a month ago. Where are you at as far as like training and learning about the digital marketing, the process to start, not only starting an agency, but, learning about digital marketing and how to use it as a resource or as a tool to generate leads and sales and engagement for a business online. So how much have you actually gotten into, Mercedes? So if I had a business page to my business manager, can I run ads for that page, or do I need a ad account to go with it? So anytime you run ads, you have to set up an ad account, because the ad account, essentially what it does is it stores specific information about your business page, right? So the ad account itself is really more for just holding your credit card information, right? That's really what the ad account is about. You'll build it in Ads Manager on business. So I can actually, no, I don't want to do that because I don't have a blur up, and I don't want to go into the, I don't want to put the, I don't have my dummy account up, is essentially what I'm trying to say. So I don't want to put that other one out there because it has a bunch of sensitive information that I can't give away. But basically you log into business.facebook.com. When you log in there, you're going to attach your Facebook page, right, to your business manager account. And then once you get that set up, you'll create your ad account, right, which is basically just creating a credit card for you to put payment information on, so that way you can run ads. And then once you have that set up, you're good. The only other things are obviously, campaign mapping, making sure that you're doing or taking the right steps to get your campaign built, and that you actually understand what your campaign flow will look like, because people just go out there and they start running ads. That's really the big thing. And also, obviously, outside of that would be the Facebook pixel, and making sure that you have tracking set up properly, so that way you can read the data for your campaigns and understand where you need to make adjustments. That's really the most important thing. Lots of learning about how to get new clients. So Phil, so you're still a newer agency. How much time did you spend on learning digital marketing material, right? Because getting clients, yes, you're going to have to, it doesn't matter if you're new to selling or an expert salesperson. Obviously an expert salesperson is going to do a lot better, but they're still going to have to learn about digital marketing and how it relates to a business and what they need to sell to that business before they're actually going to really get good at it, right? Because the issue is a lot of people go into a business and they try to sell them the wrong thing, or they don't know how to explain the service that they're trying to sell them to a business owner. A lot of the time people go in and they complicate it, right? And so they'll go in and they'll start talking about, super in-depth details about the Facebook pixel or Google Analytics and, all of these, like trying to explain the difference between the event pixel and the base pixel code. A business owner really doesn't need to know that. I mean, unless they just are, already into marketing and they already have a decent understanding, they just don't understand that one aspect of it. Cool, that's great. But if there's someone who's they're a CEO, it's pretty clear they don't know much about anything online and how it all works, why would you go into super in-depth, an in-depth explanation of digital marketing and how it works? You need to be able to read that business owner and basically adjust to say, okay, well, this person is not tech savvy, they're not online savvy, so I don't need to go into a super deep explanation. I need to keep it very high level, so that way, someone with a basic understanding of how online engagements and interactions work would be able to understand me when I present to them. Because that's what happens. A lot of time people start presenting, or they'll go into their proposal, and then what ends up happening is you lose their attention because you've gone too deep down the rabbit hole to where they don't even know what you're talking about anymore. So what you're actually doing is losing motivation, or not motivation, but you're losing momentum, You're losing momentum in the sale, basically meaning that they're starting to lose interest because you're not keeping them in the loop. They're starting to disconnect from what you're trying to pitch to them, right? And usually when someone's about to spend a few $1,000s, you're not the only marketing agency that they're probably talking to about this, right? They're probably talking to some other agencies as well. Unless you know them personally or it's a direct referral, a lot of the time you're competing with other people. So if you go in there and present to someone and it just makes no sense, but then this other business comes in and they explain it very clearly to where everything makes sense, and they show step 1, step 2, step 3 sales for you, right? If you can make that presentation as easy to understand for that business owner as possible, the one who did is usually going to win the sale. And obviously, it also comes down to making them like you and other things that we usually talk about, but that's really what's important. So making it simple and keeping it easy for the business owner to understand. Do you have an alternate for Likealizer? Have found it won't work on with a number of Facebook pages. Phil White, I can tell you exactly why that is. Let me show you. Go over to my screen really quick. Alright, we'll just do screen only then, because my DSLR isn't up. Alright, so if I go to Serial Entrepreneur's page. Come on. Okay. Hey, there we are. I can just click that. What now, Facebook? I don't know why Facebook's being so slow right now. This is a little redonkulous. Okay, so you see right here at the very top how I have a custom URL made for my page. If the business that you're looking up hasn't set their custom URL, that's why it's not working on Likealizer. If you look at after their URL and it says facebook.com/ and then a bunch of random numbers and letters and that's it, they don't have like something custom right here, right after the .com, it's not going to work on Likealizer. All right, so, and that's actually a cool selling point too. It's not like a huge thing, but to a business owner who doesn't really understand digital marketing, this can be a really good way to get in the door and simply say, you know, I noticed, you know, and not, I wouldn't take this in and this is like your main point that you're, but it's an added thing that you can add on to like the digital marketing audit, or mentioning they don't have the pixel set up but they're running ads and that's why they're not getting results with their campaign, right? Those are added things. It's not something you really lead in with. But you can go in there and say, yo, you don't have this set up on your page. This is more keywords that just relate to your business, that when people go online, you know, it's going to relate. When they go online and do a search on Google, it's actually, you have the potential to show this page, right? It's not going to happen if they're typing in the direct service, but it will show up. Like if somebody went online and typed in Serial Entrepreneur, my Facebook page is much more likely to rank then on search results. Why? Because we have this connection here, and our Facebook page has okay engagement, right? We get views, we get people who are liking and commenting all the time on our pages. So there we go. And we have tons of reviews. I think we have like, 95 reviews. Damn, we're killing it. We got a 4.9 out of 95 reviews. And some of those were fake. I hate that. Facebook wouldn't take down those fake reviews. I was so pissed. I was like, this has nothing to do with our business. Somebody called me what did they call me? I can't remember. They like were essentially comparing me to like Hitler. I was like, oh my God, like, how did you get that from my content? I've never had somebody tell me that before. Anyways, let me go back over here, and then we'll do this here. Sorry, this here. Boom. Okay. I'm at the point of cold calling and setting appointments to get my first client. Mercedes, didn't you just tell me you only started a month ago? Is that what you just said? If you just started your journey a month ago, I would seriously put a little bit more time, and this is not me trying to say you're not intelligent. It's not me trying to say that you haven't put in work, but I guarantee you, this is, I've gone over this in several different videos, and I think one of the big mistakes that people who aren't seeing success make, probably the biggest mistake, is they really want to get into making the money, right? And I get that. You want to make money, and you want to make it now. It's my money and I want it now. I get it, right? But you don't realize that you're actually hurting yourself more when you go into a situation like this, specifically starting a business, and you don't have all your ducks in a row. Now, you're not going to be able to get every duck in a row. Like, before you get started, you're not going to be able to have your team in place, have all of your workflows and your procedures in place for internal operations. You won't know exactly, the best pricing structure, because it does take adjustment over time, because every little area, like, just from living in, like, people always are like, okay, well, in the UK, is this going to work for me? Yes, it works for you. You have to understand that there's always adjustments that need to be made in your pricing, right? People are like, I can't charge $1,000, and they'll live in like, the Philippines, which they don't have a very high GDP, and there's not a ton of money in the Philippines. There are in some areas, obviously, but for the most part, there isn't. It's not a super wealthy country, so you can't go to an average business owner in the Philippines and charge $1,000 per month. You have to do kind of a conversion to relate to the industry, or not the industry, but the area geographically that you live in, right? So even in the U.S., though, it's the same thing. Being in Georgia versus being in Cali, you're going to spend probably 3 times as much on a marketing campaign with an agency in Cali versus with an agency, say, in the Southeast in like Atlanta. And the reason why is because we have a lower cost of living, meaning we don't have to charge as much for our services, and we still make really good money, right? Because, again, lower cost of living. So you have to consider those things with your business, and those are just things that you don't really get. And that's just one example, but those are things you don't really understand until month 3, month 4. That's where and this is where I see a lot of students who really start doing well. That's where they make it to before they really start to turn the ball around with their agency, right? They get through the first 2-3 months, and I see people who they'll go through a month of training and they try to start their agency and go out there and start getting clients, and just they're gonna wing it. But those students that I have that go through and they wait 4 months, 6 months to start really working on getting clients and then building that book of business, those are the ones who actually I see more than not have success than the guys or girls who come through and only do it in a month, right? So point being, long-winded point being, take your time with it. Don't rush just because you want to start making money now. I understand, and there's things like bills, you might have other financial responsibilities, and you need this money to start coming in now. I strongly suggest working another, like I did that in the very beginning. I was working 2 jobs, my agency and my actual job that I would work in the day, to make things work, because I couldn't afford to just like quit doing that, because I had to make some money. I had to be able to live and support myself, right? And so that's what a lot of people, patience really is a virtue in this business and in entrepreneurship in general, because of the fact that if you rush things, I guarantee you're not, and this relates even to creating campaigns, to putting together a proposal for your potential client. The more you rush these things, the more you're going to mess up, you're going to make mistakes, you're not going to charge enough money, you're not going to build the campaign right, which means you won't get results for the client, which means you'll get a bad review. There's so many different things that people really try to rush, and I strongly suggest, guys, seriously, taking your time with the training and education side. As much training and experience and education, like getting in groups and talking to other people. I would strongly suggest, if you guys can, we have a free Facebook group, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that, but we have a free Facebook group that you can join. I'll go over there and show you guys really quick for those of you who haven't seen it before. Give me a second. But what I would suggest, this is one of the biggest things that I think helps people, is when you get in a group like our free group, where everybody in here, we filter everybody who comes into this group. So if we see people spamming or trying to put ads in here or anything like that, as soon as we do, we kick them, because we don't want people in here like that. This is all for discussion, and I think we're at 3,500 members now, so we'll be at 4,000 probably here very soon, and it's all about, trying to help other people. I strongly suggest getting in here, putting out a post and saying, hey, who would like to get together? I'm looking for current agency owners. I'm looking for guys who are new. I'm looking for people who are, about to start getting clients and stuff of that nature. And we're looking to talk to everybody and get everybody's different experiences and start seeing where people who are further along in their journey have made mistakes. People who are newer, they can actually learn with other newer people as well and get experience from them, because they're going through the exact same thing that you're going through right now. It's just super, super helpful. But this, I was trying to tell you guys. All right, let me show my screen here really quick, because you guys didn't see any of that. So this is the group. I totally forgot you guys were looking at me. So this is the group. All you have to do is type in Serial Entrepreneur Academy. You don't have to really type in this whole title. That's just, we're targeting keywords here. That's why we put all of this in. Yes, it is a long title, but we need to target keywords like SMMA. That's why we get so many organic new members. But anyways, you can go there and type that in, or you can just type in facebook.com/groups/serial entrepreneur, and you'll get there as well. And yeah, I strongly recommend getting in some type of group like that and talking with other people. Getting on video calls. Zoom is amazing. Get on Zoom. Like, I believe you can do it for free. The only issue is if you do the free version, it's not expensive either. So I'd recommend if you can get the pro version. But the free version, you can get on there, and I believe you can do like 15 to 30-minute group calls. You can't. It's not unlimited. That's like one of their, the benefits of joining is you get unlimited group calls. But that's how I would recommend doing it. Or find someone who already has a paid Zoom account, and you guys can all just have him host it. Then nobody else really has to get one. But point being, get in a group, talk to other people, and learn from their experiences. That is the best way, in my opinion, to learn, is from other people's mistakes. Because then you know exactly. And if somebody tells you they made a mistake, listen to them. Like people kind of phase out people who make mistakes because they think, well, I don't want to learn from that person. They don't know what they're doing. No, actually, that's a person who's going to know a lot more about what they're doing than 90% of all the other people, because they went through the process of making mistakes. Now, I'm not saying intentionally go through the process to try and make mistakes so that way you can learn, but making mistakes is part of the process. And so if you can go to someone who you can see, they're running their agency now, they have, 1 or 2 clients even, and they've been doing it for 6 to 8 months, that's someone I would definitely go learn from and say, hey, can we talk and maybe set up a private call? We can do, even if it's just 10 minutes, I would love to just see, I'd love to talk to you about the things that you messed up on. What were some of the mistakes you made? Because I don't want to make those same mistakes. And if you can teach me something, that would be amazing, right? So get on calls with other people. The biggest thing, guys, is being more proactive about your education and stop waiting for stuff to be put or given to you. A lot of people look for the shortcut or the easy way, and it's just not possible. Not if you want a successful agency making 6 figures plus. Trust me, it is not as easy as it seems. It is a great opportunity, because that's what I think I hate the most, and I know I'm going on and on right here, but I think this is important. I think people botch this opportunity up because they talk about, you can just sit on your phone from an island and run your agency, and that's just not true. Like, that's not as simple. That's not how simple this business is. It is simple, but there's also a lot of complexities to it as well. I'm sure you guys, if you've gone through any digital marketing related training and you start learning about my acronym SWEPs, that social, web, email, pay-per-click, SEO, if you start looking into all those topics, it gets pretty complex, right? And then you throw in analytics, and you throw in content marketing, and you throw in SMS marketing. There's so many different forms of digital marketing. It can get really confusing, right? And then you throw in CRMs and connections like Zapier to make automation, a really good thing for your business. But it's more complex than just being able to spend a month on a lot of these things. So again, the education and commitment to that, and really going out and being proactive about your education with this stuff, is going to be those people who do it will be the successful ones. The people who don't spend a real amount of time. I mean, think about that. I just want you guys to think about this. All right, I want you to give me your opinion. Oh wait, we're on my screen, aren't we? You guys got to help your brother out. Y'all might have told me. Oh, y'all didn't tell me. Okay, I'm back. But what was I going with? I completely lost my train of thought. You know what? We're just gonna move on. What are your thoughts? Yeah, we're gonna move on, because I was trying to remember right there. If I think of it, I'll go back into it. But I know what it is. You want to make $100,000, right? Who here wants to make 100,000? Actually, what is your revenue goal? Like, I know, like, the first step is to get to 100,000, but what number would you really like to make for your business? Is it 100,000? Is it 500,000 a year? $1 million, 10 million, 100 million a year? What kind of entrepreneur are you trying to be? And don't think of this as a competition, because if you're making $10 million a year, you're going to be pretty happy, right? That not everybody wants to make a massive multi-9-figure empire, or even a 10-figure empire, right? Not everybody wants that to be happy. You don't need that to be happy. And not to say that it's not, admirable, or it's not, I guess, a good thing, but it's just not what everybody needs. So what is your number? All right. And the reason why I'm asking that is because people don't understand that you want to come into something. And I'm Mercedes, I hope you don't feel like, I hope I'm not making you feel bad. I'm not I'm not barking at you by any means. I just want you to understand the importance of this, because, you can go to school in college, and you can go to school for 4 years to become a teacher, and they're still only in some areas only going to pay you 25 to 30 grand a year. 25 to 30 grand a year, and you went to school for 4 years and probably spent tens of thousands of dollars if you went to a big public college. But most people want to get into this business where you have the opportunity to easily make 100,000 plus per year, but they think that they're only going to have to spend, out of a month, 10 days, like really committed 10 days of actual training out of that entire month. So a third of a month, and that's the thing, because you're not going, people say, okay, I've been doing this for a month, but in reality, you didn't spend all 30 days every single day, just from the time you woke up to the time you went to sleep, studying digital marketing, right? That's not possible in a lot of situations. So a lot of people are expecting then to go out and be able to make $100K per year when they spent really 10 days learning everything that all of these multi-million-dollar agencies have spent years trying to learn and perfect and do. That's where the big disconnect happens, is because Tai Lopez and all these other people have built it up to be like, you can start making all this money now and it's this simple. It is simple, guys, but you have to put in the time and work on the education side of things for it to become simple. Jarrell says 40K a month. Gus Sand says 500 mil in the next 5 years. Good God. Gus, go get it, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I don't know, hopefully you have some mills already working, because if you don't, 500 mil in 5 years, you better be coming up with something just like off the wall, never been seen before, and you better scale that shit quickly. Not saying it's not possible. I'm saying that is a hefty goal if you're not already making millions. And that's the other thing, guys. Dreams are great, but you have to set realistic goals. It's why it's the R in SMART goals, right? We have to set goals that are realistic. And I'm not saying it's not attainable. If you're making millions, or you have this just, groundbreaking technology that's never been seen before and it's going to change the world, then yeah, you could totally make that money. But again, that's a very uncommon thing. Okay? So, realistic goals, very important. 50K to 100K in the first year is Chris Lloyd's goal. And that's a totally attainable goal. Honestly, that is super attainable. First year, 50K, easy. And that's the other thing I would say about goal setting is you don't want to undershoot your goals either, because then you start to become complacent in your work, or you start to slack off. So set goals they're hard to reach, but they are attainable. It's going to take hard work, but it's still attainable. It's not impossible. If I can reach 100,000 a year, I think that would be a good foundation to scale that goal higher in the future. Yeah, 100,000. That's why I think a lot of people, mention. It's also the fact that 100K is the benchmark for having a comfortable life. If one person can make 100K, even if they have a family, they can support a family with 100K. But it's also a really good goal as far as your first business and being in your first year. If you were selling something like tractors, and that was your business in the first year, you'd have a higher revenue. But for this business and this revenue model and industry, that makes a lot of sense. So 100K is a good goal. The first module in the course you offer, would it be different in the UK? ID2K, you're going to have to remind me on what lesson or like what specific topic you're talking about. I'm not quite sure what you mean. The first module, I believe, is just more of an intro module. Like, I don't think we get into any of the heavy training until module 2, but I could be wrong. I can't quite remember, to be honest. Market I'm in is a $1.98 billion market. Gus Sands. So what I want you to realize is, are you set? Okay, so did you 500 mil? Is that 500 mil total over the next 5 years? Or is that you want to be making 500 mil per year? Because that is 25% of the market. That's a lot. A major slice. Like, not even Cox Media has 25% of the market. And that's a major media company and marketing company. So, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You have to really understand your goal. And 500K in 5 years. or 500 mil in 5 years. Like I said, it is definitely attainable. But even if it's only 100 mil per year over the next 5 years, which is still a shit ton of money to make in a year, like Ty Lopez probably isn't making 100 million a year. I want it, and that's what I want you. Like Billie Jean, definitely not making 100 million a year. All right, who else? I was gonna say Grant Cardone, but he's totally making over 100 mil a year. I'm trying to think of other. Amy Porterfield, if you know who that is, she's not making over $100 million in a year. And these are very successful agency owners. So I want you to understand your goal. 100 mil over 5 years, that's still in the total market, 1.98 billion. That's 5% of the market that you own if you're making that much money per year. So that's a big portion. It's a massive industry. So I just want you guys to understand that. Again, not saying it's impossible. I just want you to be realistic with your goals and understand the depth of your goal, because that's a steep climb. 50K and I could stay home with my kids, and my wife could even quit her job. Hell yeah, you live a frugal life though. I gotta say, if you got kids and a wife and you can make it with 50K, I need to learn from you how to manage my money is what I'm trying to figure out, because that's a hell of a budget. You got kids, a wife, and you, and all you need is 50K? Where you live at, Chris? I might need to move there. All right, Chris asked a decent question. I like that. I'm cold calling landscapers on Yelp, and I'm getting a lot of "we're way too booked out. We can't even handle any more customers right now. Call me back in the fall, etc." How would you treat that? That's the thing, guys. You're not some so start to learn when or what types of customers are just the ones you gotta let go of, right? One of the hard things to do when you're first starting off with selling anything is to learn what customer just isn't ready to buy right now, right? So with that type of customer, what you have to realize is some businesses just aren't ready to take on more business right now. They don't have the necessary staff in place. They don't have operations in place. They don't even have a plan to scale, right? So not every business needs more customers right this minute. Some businesses are booked out, like you just mentioned, and they're just happy with their customers. So that business, what I would do is put them on that list to remarket to or to follow up with later, right? That's why we talk about the follow-up when it comes down to selling any kind of service professionally. The follow-up is one of the most important things, because you're not going to get a yes on every cold call or every cold email or every cold message. But if you're not following up with that person later, say you got a response and they were just like, "Nah, we're good. We don't really need any more new customers right now." If that's the case, I mean, then you don't need to talk to them right now about it. But in 3 to 6 months, like they're telling you, they could need someone else to manage their marketing. Maybe the agency they were working with left, or maybe sales fell off and now they do need someone to help them bring in more customers, right? But the issue is people put that business on a list and never look at it again. So that's why when you build out, like I just like to build until you guys can afford a CRM, which it's going to be a while, trust me, to get a good one out there. They're just super expensive for no freaking reason, but it's just a little internal anger. But you can make yourself an Excel spreadsheet, and all I do is I make several columns of when I last made contact with that person. And then not only that, what did we say when we made contact with that person, right? What was the conversation about? What did they tell me? Take good notes. I feel like a lot of people, they're just doing cold calling, and they're just calling businesses and hoping that they're going to set a meeting right there. And a lot of the time, that's not going to happen. So you have to follow up. But what's happening is people aren't taking notes during their calls. They're not writing down what conversation is had on the call. They're not, what else? They're not writing, when to follow back up. getting possibly information about whether they have a current agency that they're working with, or if they're currently, running online marketing campaigns. All of that information is stuff you need to be writing down and storing about that business owner. So that way when you do follow up, you have stuff to talk about and say, yeah, I know we discussed this last time. Or you can even get personal and, maybe say, when you're on the phone with them and you're trying to, kind of break the ice with them just a little bit, maybe you ask them about, if they have any plans for the weekend, if they're doing anything fun this weekend, something like that, and they told you they're going to a concert. You should write down that they are going to a concert, and when you follow back up, you ask them how the concert was. Why? Because you made it seem like you care more than the other salesperson that they might be potentially talking to or hearing from every single day. That's the other thing you have to realize is you're not the only salesperson reaching out to them. Right? You're not the only agency out there. They have agencies calling them all the day, every day. So if you don't do something to make yourself stand out, to make yourself seem like you care more, they're not going to call you back. They're not going to answer your call. They're not going to set the meeting with you, whatever it may be. So do stuff to set yourself up for success later. Dude, I'm making 25K, she makes 10K, so 50K would be a great start. You guys, Kentucky. Damn, I didn't know Kentucky's cost of living was, but I mean, seriously though, I hope you don't feel like I'm talking about you. I was amazed. I didn't even know that was, especially with kids and a wife. I'll tell you right now, you couldn't do that in Atlanta. There's no way. I mean, you could, but you'd be eating ramen every day for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And nobody wants to do that. Don't get me wrong, I love me some ramen, but as I'm living in the UK, would the licensing and taxes be different? ID2K, yes, they are a little bit different, but really they're different, but they're also the same. So you have to have a business license, right? In the UK. You also have to have a business license in the US. In the US, you have to have your state license and you have to have your federal license, right? Because we have states and then we have the actual, entire country. With the UK, you're just in the UK. Now, I could be wrong. I don't do business in the UK, nor do I have a business license in the UK, and I haven't really looked that much into it because I don't really have a need to. But I don't know that you guys have states. I don't think you do. Obviously, you have cities, and you might have to get a local, maybe city license and a business license in the UK. So I would check that out. But as far as taxes, I know you guys have the VAT out in, so you need your VAT ID. We have an EIN, that's Employee Identification Number. We have to get those, or your business tax ID in the US. So they're all pretty much the same. There are differences, as like, for example, with taxes. You guys might pay different taxes for different things than we do here in the US. I'm sure you guys do. That's why you get an accountant. I'm not an accountant. That's why I don't teach accounting. You guys, if you're not an accountant either, you should not be trying to manage your business's accounting. Please do not do that, and please do not try to manage your own taxes. Get an accountant to do that stuff for you. It is so much more worth it to do that. You will actually spend way more trying to do it yourself, and you don't even know it. You're not spending any money on an accountant because you're doing it yourself, but you're losing money on all of the taxes you probably didn't have to pay, but since you didn't write off certain things a specific way, you lost out on that revenue, or really lost out on negating that tax, right? So trust me, pay for the tax, or pay for the accountant. But yeah, ID2K. It is essentially the exact same thing. So all you have to do, if I were you, you can go on Google and type in steps to starting a business in the UK. That's what I would type in. And there's probably an article that tells you the exact steps that you would need to start your business in the UK. What are your thoughts on providing 1 to 3 digital marketing services if you're starting a digital marketing agency by yourself? Should I focus only in one area to be effective? Determined soul. This is something that I'm actually starting to like a little bit more as we go through it. So as far as maybe just offering, let's say, for example, SEO as a service, right? And that's all you offer. That's a great way to get into it because you don't have to worry about all of the other aspects, right? Like you don't have to worry about email, you don't have to worry about Facebook or Instagram, you don't have to worry about websites really. I mean, you do, but from a search engine perspective, right? So it's a lot less to learn, and you are able to become an expert at that one area really, really quickly, right? Because that's all of your focus is on that. And that's actually kind of the approach we take with our agency. We don't sell as much email automation and we don't try to do too much web design or really even PPC. We like to focus more on social management, ads management, content marketing, and SEO. Those are our favorite services to focus on, and that's what we kind of build around. Now, we have all those other services, like we have email automation and strategy. We have messenger automation and strategy if you want to purchase something like that. But at the same time, we know where our bread and butter is. We know what we're really good at and what we know can get results for businesses. So that's where we like to focus. So, and that's a key lesson in business that I think you'll learn, is that you have to learn what your strengths are and prioritize your time based on your strengths. A lot of people will start a business and they just get spread too thin. They're looking at 500 different things, and so it makes it complicated when you're trying to build a business and do it rapidly, right? If you're learning about the SWEPS acronym plus content marketing, that's 6 different areas that you have to build internal processes for. You have to determine pricing for. You have to figure out how you're going to package all of these things together when you package them together. You also have to learn the strategy behind each one, how they apply to local versus national businesses or regional businesses. There's just a lot to take on. So hyper focusing on one service in the beginning or 1 or 2 services can be super effective. One of my suggestions to you guys would be, if you're going to focus on 1 to 2 and you know that your clientele is going to be mostly local businesses, here's my thoughts on that. All right, if you're not already a web developer, then you can do it, but you're going to need to, number one, learn a decent amount about web development and how it all works and how you would structure it and price it and sell it and plan a website and all of the other aspects like hosting and setting up domains and security, all of that, right? You'd have to come up with that plan. So I would stay away from that if you don't already know a decent amount about web design and development. What I would say would be a good idea would be to either focus on PPC, which is pay-per-click, or SEO. Why? Because every local business has to use one of these 2 things to drive traffic to their site. They're not getting a ton of social engagement, and a lot of businesses can't benefit from cold traffic ads on Facebook. Going back to my example that I always talk about with the criminal attorney, right? So what does that mean? Well, search engines are one of the first ways that anybody in a local area is going to try and find information. That being said, that's why you want to work on that if you want to be able to drive traffic. Now, what would be the second service I would offer? Social ads. Why? Because this is a great way to remarket those people you're driving to the site with these ads, right? Or this style of marketing, the first 2 styles of marketing that we mentioned. So that's what I would recommend doing. Content marketing is also a really great way to kind of focus on a specific niche, because content marketing is literally just coming up with social posts. It's coming up with blog content, video content. So if you're good at video editing, focus on your strengths. Find out what you're already really good at, and then focus in that area. And yeah, it can be a huge benefit to do it that way. But it's all about if you do, that's the thing. If you don't understand digital marketing, it's going to be hard for you to understand what you need to do. Zoho Plus is $55 a month. I'd have to see what the features are for Zoho Plus. I've never been a fan of Zoho, and also we don't want to get into Zoho because we're planning on hopefully getting what's it called? Why am I spacing? Salesforce next year. It's like $15,000 a year. It's just ridiculously expensive, and I can't I'm having a hard time justifying that freaking software, but anyways, I'll check out Zoho Plus. SMMA for tattoo parlors. What are your thoughts? Every business. The only business that I can think of that I would say no to, or that would not be a legitimate business that could use digital marketing to make money, would be like a VCR sales place. And I hope you understand why I would not take that client on, because you're not going to sell a single freaking VCR. They're dead. You're probably having a hard time, they're probably having a hard time selling DVD players nowadays, because every Xbox and PlayStation and gaming console out there, or computer, can play a DVD, right? Some TVs even have them already built in. So, but yes, tattoo parlors for sure. They need marketing. They can charge a decent amount if they have a great artist there. I wouldn't, and see, that's the thing. I probably wouldn't make that my niche. I would say that unless you're willing to cover a large area geographically, because you're not going to be able to work with every tattoo parlor out there. That's what I want you to understand. Pretty much every industry can benefit from digital marketing, but not every business in every industry is going to be able to, right? Because it doesn't matter if you become really good at marketing for tattoo parlors if they're not charging, high dollar, if they're not charging a high hourly rate, they're not going to make enough money to justify that expense unless you're driving in, a ton of new people every single month. And, that's a little bit harder to do with tattoo parlors that don't already have a name or an artist, right? Because there's kind of that almost celebrity-esque effect with a tattoo parlor where people start to get to know a name of a person at a tattoo parlor because of their amazing work, right? Or at least in, Atlanta, that's how it is here. We have several tattoo shops that are well known, and it's because of the artists that work there, right? They built this massive name for themselves. So it's easy to sell for them. I can go in and I can create campaigns that are just going to drive tons more traffic to their site. We'll add in some remarketing that they're probably not doing, and that's going to increase their sales by probably 10 to 15% at least, right? So it's all about understanding, you can go after tattoo parlors, but not every tattoo parlor is going to be someone that you're going to be able to work with. So you're going to need to understand a little bit more about their business, like how much they charge per hour, how well known their artists are, or is everybody there brand new and nobody has any clue who these people are? That's going to make it a little more difficult. All right, so we are at 46 minutes today. I have some company over, so I'm actually going to go for tonight. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to get to one of your questions tonight, guys. Before we play our mentorship giveaway game, I need you guys to hit that thumbs up button right below this video. And also say I'm ready to play if you want to try and win a free mentorship program tonight. And what you get is 1 free month of our mentorship program. Your first month absolutely free on me. About millions. I would try to send probably 200 per week if you're doing cold emails. Emails are super slow, meaning they have a low conversion rate. And P.S. if you guys weren't here when we first started the video, DMS 2.0 is open. If you purchase in the next week, you will get the mentorship program for free for a year. All right, so that's another 56 lessons. It's between 50 and 56. I should probably say 54 because there's no way I'm doing every single week, like even the holidays. I'll take a break sometimes. But I guess I always do makeup sessions, or I'll do like an hour-long video. So, yeah, all right, we'll just say 50 to 54. But if you join the DMS 2.0, the whole point is you get that program for free for your first year. So take advantage of that while you can. The link is right below this video in the description. And again, I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of you guys, or if I didn't get to one of your questions tonight. As you guys could see, we had a lot of action going on, and I can get long-winded sometimes. I know you guys know that too. But let me find a question for today that I want to go into. We had a lot of good talk tonight, so okay, I know what I want to say. Because this will be good for anybody who just showed up too. Because if you just showed up towards the tail end of this, you'll be able to get it. All right, guys. Looks like we got a lot of people writing. They're ready to play. So the question for today is, what were the 3 services that I said I would recommend selling if you were to hyper-focus on only a few services? What were the 3, and I will say 3. What were the 3 services that I mentioned would be a great kind of combination if you wanted to do a hyper-focused service offering? Carmen, you're close. I gotta give it to okay, actually, Determined Soul, I would love to give it to you. But now that I look at it, I have to actually give it to Jarrell, because I did say social ads, because that's what it is. Social, not Facebook. Social ads, because that can include Facebook and Instagram. It could even include LinkedIn, depending on the business. But Jarrell, you're the winner for tonight, because PPC, SEO, and social ads for remarketing was the answer that I was looking for. So I'm sorry, Determined Soul. I didn't mean to get you excited, man. But just make sure to show up next week, because we do a giveaway every single week. And also, if you watch our YouTube videos, we do giveaways in pretty much every YouTube video now. And all you have to do is write a comment telling us what you learned in that video, and we're picking out a winner pretty much every single week. So Jarrell, I'm really sorry, man. Jarrell, please make sure to send a message to my Facebook page. That is facebook.com/serial entrepreneur. And we will get your promo code over to you by tomorrow. But that is it for tonight, ladies and gents. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me and having some fun. I'm going to go for now, but I will see you guys next Thursday. Until then, Serial Entrepreneur out. Bye, guys.